we actually told that no, it's much better to use the tools that we actually use in the field, so we can
to test against the release, and then it's like to make sure it's stable with the latest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why mesh sync is replaced in a subsequent step, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
And
I see.
also, just to mention why we are replacing mesh sync is because at this point, I think, yeah, we do it somewhere here. We have the way it's structured is there's let me call it hard coding, but the Meshery operator is what will initiate the mesh sync. So at this point, it doesn't live as a service by itself, but it's invoked from another service. So that's why we're having to do that quote unquote hack to let it build up and then replace the image and the image pool policy, and then have now the new pod that will come up run with the latest, or rather with the version of mesh sync that is under test.
Okay, so that's why the deployment is scaled to 0, and then image is set, and then there's a patch done against.
Yes.
With kubectl.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. And also please comment on the on just the pull request if you have any feedback.
Sure.
And then I'll work on it. Thank you.
Right. Anyone has any more feedback for Daniel, or should we proceed? Cool. Sounds like we can proceed in this case. Okay, so good job. Thanks. What's next? There's a failing end-to-end miss E2S for Meshery ES2 adapter. Anyone who wants to talk about this?
I think this PR is from the Saurav Singh. He's not present in the meeting. Maybe we can discuss the PR.
Okay, so should we take a look? Okay, oh, you mean the PR? Which PR? Like the next one?
No, the failed E2E test. It's a PR, I guess.
No,
It looks like it's run.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Uzer.
I think it's a bug that is there, and it's usually a call for volunteers to try and fix that particular pipeline.
Good. So who wants to fix it? Call for volunteer.
I'm also not aware of the specifics to discuss like why it is failing. Maybe I can add in the meeting minutes afterwards after I take a look. But if someone wants to has something aware of, like Yash or anyone else can discuss it.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, something's definitely broken here.
Okay, I can discuss my.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
So this is basically the Meshkit error code utility runner inside Meshery repository. So previously, what was happening? This workflow was failing at the time of commit stage, meaning when the error has been like analyzed and updated across the code base. At the last step, at the commit step, the workflow was failing because to commit the changes, we required the usage of token, which was not provided at the time of like checking out the repository. So previously it was fixed, but it introduced a regression in which it started failing on all of the PRs. Like it was passing only on when the commit was when the changes were merged in the master branch, but for all other PRs, the test was again and again failing because in the PR, since the target, the GitHub event target is pull request, and if the target is pull request, GitHub action doesn't include secrets or tokens. So because secrets and tokens were not using it, it like started and failed at the very early of the stage, like input required and not supplied token. So this was the like regression introduced, and this was the problem. So I have this fixed here, but I needed feedback from Mario or someone else, because the fix includes like introducing a conditionals, meaning just a minute. What I have done here is I'm checking for the event type. So if event type is like push, then I am using this step. So this is a conditional which will be invoked. So I'm in this, since the event type is push, I will be having access to secret and tokens. So I'm using that. So the commit step will also pass. But for event types which are of kind pull request, I am like using this step, like with the help of conditional, I'm skipping the step, but and using the step, so that everything passes until the commit step. Because in pull request, we don't commit the changes. So if someone else have like better idea or better logic around to control this, it would be helpful. Like I was refraining from adding this such kind of conditionals, but I think this is the only way. Any thoughts?
Yes, I did share just right now in the meeting minutes a link to the discuss forum. It was from the build and release January 11th. I added this comment where I gave 2 or 3 options as per what I investigated back then. So there's like a suggested approach is to have an admin account. Not sure we already have that, to be honest. So
Admin account in GitHub, right? Or
yeah, I assume it's in GitHub, but if you click on the link in number 1, the second GitHub creating a branch protection rule. So there's some docs in there about specifics of let me see what step. Yeah, step 6, sub bullet 5. So there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Allow specific actor. So yeah, these are specific steps to follow in GitHub branch protection rule. So this allows like a specific actor, in this case an admin account in GitHub, to bypass required pull requests. So that means it allows that like that admin account, like we would create a token for it, and then it would be able to push without requiring a pull request. So that's what the branch protection rules are. Like this is just like adding an exception to because the reason it fails is because branch protection was added, right? That's why it's not able to commit. So that's one option as per the comment made in discuss. The second one is as I'm just reading what I just wrote back then. So similar, but allow step 16 rules applied to urban. Allow force pushes. So it's something kind of similar, but you allow force pushes from a specific
same admin account.
Yeah, but allowing force pushes, I'm not really sure if they would allow everyone to force push with the force flag argument. So optionally allow force pushes.
But will it still bypass the token? I mean, will it, because at the time of cloning, we will not use the token. So at the time of commit step, when we'll use the force flag, will it allow force pushing without the token? Or
but it wouldn't be the GitHub token. It would be a specific admin account created, which I didn't investigate how to create one, but I'm sure there's documents around how to do that. It feels like it's a bit more of hassle just to get get the user created and then get the token, and then there's a third option. So one is to allow for pushes. The prior one is bypassing this branch rule protection, and the third one is there's a suggestion made in a specific GitHub action doc. Push branch. Oh yeah, you're in there, right? So it's
Yes, yes.
For what I wrote back then. Oh yeah, there's something where we already do in a YAML called discussions data files update. So
Okay.
we could do that, and we wouldn't need to create an admin account and modify the branch protection rules.
Okay.
So
Look
actually,
into that.
yeah, maybe we can just if you'd like, you could look into that specific. So it's discussions data file. Let me look that up for you very quickly. Should be in the Meshery repo, but take a look very quickly. Discussions data file. Yeah, here it is. So I'll just put it in the notes. Data files. Okay, so yeah, here's the So that's the file that already follows the third attempt with that GitHub action mentioned.
Thank you. I will look at it. We
Sure.
don't need to.
Nice. If anyone has any other comments about this? Because not. Guess we can proceed. Yep. So going back. So here we added some comments about that. But is there any other agenda items anyone would like to come up before we look at the Meshery test plan?
Yash, you mentioned label PR. Should you do that now or later? Is
Yeah, we
Yash
can.
here?
Yeah, you can do that. I was talking about like you have some phased PR related to updating workflows for the label.
Is that
Mesh-
Get My Talk repo?
Can you repeat that?
Yes,
Is
please.
that in the Get My Talk repo? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I was just
so
saying we can discuss that if you want.
sorry?
I was just saying that you can discuss if you want.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but since you brought it up, I guess I could address the comment you left on it. So those were placed into multiple repos, and it was basically an issue raised by Lee to just copy and paste something that he had given me to do. So that's why I CC'd him in it. So he would be better to respond to your comment than I.
Would you like to share and then we take a look, or
Okay.
if you want to?
I mean, I'm not prepared for it, but I'm opening my browser.
That's fine. No worries.
Okay.
Improvising a bit.
So I'm currently opening up my browser. It's taking a couple seconds. And when that happens, I will share my screen.
What repo is that in? Is it in Meshery as well?
Get Nighthawk, I think.
Oh, Git Nighthawk. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I remember pasting it in multiple repositories, so it's probably already merged in Meshery. So I'll be sharing my screen. Sorry for the mess on my desktop, but like I said, I wasn't prepared. Okay. So this here.
Looks like the PR is still open, right?
This is my repo, I think. Yes, okay, now we're in there. Let me just search for me. And then
Yeah, I added a link in the.
Add label. Oh, you found it?
I found it, and it's in the agenda, in the meeting
Okay.
minutes. Oh,
All
but you
right.
found it over here. That's
Yeah, I'm there now. So this is the add label commenter. It was added to several repositories. Lee had asked that it just be copied and pasted, and then Yash, I saw, left a comment. Let me just get to that actual PR. Why do we need to use component UIs and component Meshery CTL instead of these are related to Meshery? Okay, so yeah. This was pasted in multiple repository, not just Get Nighthawk. So that's why I CC'd Lee instead of directly answering your inquiry.
okay. I see. Well, I think when there's such ask about copying and pasting stuff, yeah, I understand. Like, there's not much context for the one person who's doing it. Like, yeah, I'm just
Yeah, sorry.
following instructions, right? That's fine. But if you like my suggestion, where I still can't find the label though. Oh yeah, in the YAML. Okay, cool. Yeah, where's the yeah? Where are those labels? I don't see them in the YAML. Probably I need to click. Yeah, at least not in the PR diff. So who has the question?
So if you see here, it says HTTPS/Meshery.io. I'm assuming that there's a different Slack channel for this, but that was left as well because I think a comment was made as well that all discussions go to this specific channel anyway. So I'm sorry that I don't have a direct answer to your question or statement or inquiry or feedback, but the job here was just a copy and paste for me as per Thurgus. So
I was thinking that it will not take much to like change a little bit. I was just saying that in the Get Nighthawk, we may not want the label component UI. So anybody have that information, which kind of labels we can have? Just yeah.
I guess the right question is what would be a better label, right? For this for such workflow in this repo.
Do we have a label such as component Nighthawk or something like that?
Well, Josh in his comment suggested kind chore. So that's a good starting point, right? Like maybe be kind chore, or actually I don't know.
my question regarding that is, if we change it in this PR, is it specific to Get Nighthawk, or would we need to change it for the rest of the merged PRs that are identical to this one?
It will be specific for the Nighthawk.
For this one, okay, then I guess then I don't think it's a biggie.
Yep.
I'm not too familiar with the labels. Go ahead, Daniel, sorry.
Yep. I think what Yash was referring to is, yes, as much as we're copying and pasting, let's try and tailor this particular label to whichever repository we are copying to, that is. Which essentially means we need to understand the functionality of that particular project, and then we can have things specific to that project.
Yeah, I will suggest one or two. I will help you.
For example, like we're copying and pasting something around, but does this repo also has the DCO? check? Like there's several like text being sent, right? So name, issue, DCO, etc. Like, yeah, let me check if we. I guess we should. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. So what I would suggest is just like when someone asks you to copy paste something, just you can
Because
just
now
take
I'm
a
kind
look
of
at.
apprehensive.
No,
Because
no,
now
no,
I'm
no.
a bit
Don't feel bad.
apprehensive because no, not that I feel bad. It's just like
Uh-huh.
when given instructions, I'm a bit apprehensive when the command literally says just.
Oh, oh, she's gone. Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Oh yeah, we lost her for a second.
Paste.
Sorry, we lost you, but you're
No, it
apprehensive
literally
with.
says I'm a bit apprehensive with making adjustment to a when you're literally told copy and paste, this workflow. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, those were the instructions and I followed them through. So even if I had an opinion, I felt that wasn't part of the ask.
Okay. But I guess it's still good to ask questions like, hey, is this valid? Is this other thing valid? I mean, I think everything applies. DCU applies. Suggesting of a mesh mate. Like, there's a lot. I mean, even if you don't feel comfortable, like just doing changes as per what you feel, like it's we should have. If you
yeah.
don't feel comfortable doing it, maybe it's a problem in the
Okay.
community. Like,
No, let me
should.
be clearer so that we don't bring the community into this.
Okay.
I wasn't scared to ask the question. I'm basically, if the task says to do ABCD, then that's what I do. If I have questions regarding it, then I ask it. But that's after that's when the PR is open, like what Yash just said, that maybe it should be this way. But since other related PRs got merged and they look exactly the same, I didn't feel the need to move forward with asking any questions.
Of course. Yep, it's okay. So so let's look for a good tag component UI. Yeah, there's no UI in Get Nighthawk, so I would say that's not applicable. So that's my take, but I don't feel it's necessary to ask. Yeah, asking Lisa is good, but I feel it's okay. We just try to get feedback from other people. It's and as yeah. Anyways, that's all. Anyone has any other comments? Still have some time. So.
We can go with this PR. I was just suggesting that it will not that particular label will not be required. It's just that package, but it's still okay. Thank you, Sandra. We can move to the next topic.
Sure. What's the next topic? Just a sec.
Yep. Yeah. I could bring something up. At least we can discuss maybe the way forward, and then ideation stage. At least it will help. Let me share my screen just a sec.
Yeah. Go ahead, please. Is it something from the last agenda, like last iteration of this meeting? Just curious.
No. It's something new.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something new. It's just an up. Maybe at least we can get a better design approach from the word go. So this is another end-to-end test. Maybe let me share this in the chat so that people can have a look. Where is the chat? Okay, I can't.
Can you share the link?
Yeah, I want to share this link, but I'm not seeing the chat. Sorry, pardon me for my. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, it's hidden. Like Zoom hides it.
Okay, so there's this issue. It's still an end-to-end test. So Dependabot sometimes gives an update that, hey, you have this particular update to this. Like Meshkit is a package that is used extensively across Meshery. think there's some part of it used in the server and some part used in MeshSync and also the operator. So now there's no like test to check, okay, this package, if I merge it to the Meshery server, will it work accordingly as you expect? So a similar situation, an end-to-end test. Now, the question I had with regards to this, because MeshKit is a separate package, and at the Meshery server, it's just used as one of the other dependencies that is in the Meshery server. So what would be the best approach to do an end-to-end test for this particular functionality? One of the approaches that in the research that I got was in the Go mode. There's usually a section called we can have a section called replace, and we can actually do some form of gymnastics to replace whatever package that we have, the versioned package, to maybe directing one on the local host, so to say, and then use that. That's one approach. But I was just wondering, does anyone else maybe has encountered a similar problem elsewhere, and how can we best do this?
Can we
Okay.
can't we just like check out that PR specifically? And since Meshkit has some of the tests in it itself, like for some of the packages, it has tests. So that could be a one test of like, okay, is our existing test passing on? Other could be like cloning the Meshery repo itself, changing the, as you said, changing the from a particular package to the current build itself, like using the require flag in go.mod and running the Meshery tests itself. But the problem with that is like Meshery tests are like not 100% coverage. Like they don't cover 100% of the code. So that would result in like again flakiness. So if we put like, or if meshing package or if meshing controller has like 100% test coverage, we can clone that repo, point to new meshkit and try building it, try testing it. We can use our meshing end-to-end test with this upgraded meshkit package. So some kind of like uh, things we can do.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'm hearing that at least once the end-to-end for MeshSync work, because it's being used, I think it's being used there. So it can also serve as a leeway into this particular test. So thank you for that.
Just a question. We're all familiar with following this topic, the dependabot, like how those PRs work, right? I'm just wondering, you guys said we do have meshkit tests, right? But
Yes.
are those tests in Meshery repo?
No, those tests are things. Yeah, I got it. So you're telling if the meshkit test already has the point, already has those tests. So when depend about raises the PR, so if they are not, yeah, so I like idea that I suggested like can be removed off. But the thing is like those tests doesn't cover all the package. For example, like some of the package suppose Docker package got updated and the test written don't cover that package. So it will not result in like 100% correctness. So we need to test around other dependencies or other packages which use Meshkit.
Exactly, right. So then the question's still open, right? Like what's the best approach? I guess that depends on how these dependencies are used, right? And trying to find for a kind of test and just the sufficient level to really test if that upgrade is safe, yeah, if it's compatible or not. Looking for
usage of like meshing test like that Daniel is working on meshing E2E would add to a benefit, but still will not be 100% sure.
Yeah.
For example, the latest one is a bump in open containers, right? Open
Yes.
containers run C. I don't really have much context on Meshkit, but does anyone have like more context as to how that's used and something valuable feedback to Danielle as to what a good test would look like that utilizes that?
I'm still learning about creating end-to-end tests, so I'm a bit useless in giving feedback in this regard at the moment. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, we're all learning, so it's okay. But yeah, I guess one approach would be to add some tests that consume Meshkit as if it were Meshery, like maybe not exactly the same, but usually the approach is to do some kind of test harness.
Test harness, you say? Could you expand a bit on that?
Yeah, good question. I usually hear that term a lot of time, and it's thrown like like a buzzword, but in the testing space. But and I would say it's code that is built like let me see if I can find a good example. Collection of software and test data used by developers to test during development. So yeah, it's basically a driver. You could look for test harness, and there's a lot of information. But I would say that it really depends on how the software's built, right? But yeah, it's usually something that exercises the software in a way that's representative of like how it's used in a real integration or use case. So let me see. Meshkit. Yeah, so for example, like being really practical, let me share my screen for a sec. Hoping this is useful. If not, you guys can just tell me to stay quiet. But if you go to PR and you say, okay, what are we trying to do, right? So here's a dependabot. It's from dependabot, right? Yeah. Yep, it is.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I would look for how we're using this package, Daniel, and then in Meshkit, and then just try to find ways of writing Go tests. So they don't, I know, I understand that here. No, where was there was quests. Yeah, here. I know that the issue itself says integration, yeah, in functional tests. So one way of writing a test against upgrading this is to actually just look at the code and say, okay, here's where we use. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the idea is to just try and not sure if I could find this over here. Search. No, wrong. But yeah, the idea is just try to find its usage and then just write a test against it. Yeah, for example, I don't, yeah, it's indirect. Wow. So this is more complex, right? Because so yeah, depend on what is asking us. If this is correct, this is asking what I'm interpreting is it's asking us to upgrade something that we're not using directly, right? So another package must be using it. Is this
Yes.
accurate?
Yes.
Aha. So
Yeah.
that makes things more complicated, but I guess we can still look for direct dependencies. I'm not familiar with Go, so I wouldn't know how to identify a direct dependency, but I guess these are some of them.
Yeah, these are and whatever isn't required.
Aha, right. But yeah. But then again, if dependable doesn't send pull request to update, for example, this one, I mean, it wouldn't make much use to test. And what tests do we have? Like where would someone find tests for Meshkit over here? Are they who has that answer?
Yeah, so basically, if you go in like utils or anything, so in Golang, what the
Oh,
the
yeah.
framework to
The-
write tests is like you just include q like
Okay.
the package name and underscore test file name, and the function name should
Mhm.
start with test, and automatically it is interpreted as a test. So
So
it
they live
runs.
alongside the file the
Yeah.
module they test, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in as okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I know this is not like a testing class on Golang, but it's great to know. Anyone has any more useful feedback to Danielle about how to design a solution for this issue? I to be honest, I have mixed feelings with having a tool that tries to help you automatically upgrade dependencies, but it's what we do. So we have to find creative ways to solve these kind of problems.
Yeah, I think
And
think it works much more
sorry, go
when you
ahead.
have external dependencies that
Mhm.
span, like, say, Docker itself. So it really works to tell you, hey, you know what, Docker has actually done this improvement.
Mhm.
Would you consider doing this? It helps in that particular sense. Yeah.
And for example, these indirect dependencies, Daniel, how would you know, what was the name of that other? How would you know which other package uses any of these, like from the ones that we directly use? Like, do you have a way of figuring that out, or is it just something unknown to you as a developer? Just curious. Like if you see this, like, do you know what package, what direct dependency we use consumes it or uses it?
Yeah, so like there is a codependency tooling around it. So which outputs a graph of like which package uses which of the dependencies in a tree like structure. So in that way we can find out like which
Oh,
package
so
is using this one.
a tool to produce a graph that represents the
Yeah,
the
it is inbuilt
dependency
yeah, it is
relationships.
in build mode. We don't need to
Build
like
Go.
use any third party
Uh-huh.
tool or something.
Uh-huh.
It is inside code.
Okay,
So
okay. So would you suggest there to Daniel that he would use the Golang build, Go build to, for example, look at what packages consume this other indirect dependency, and then like find some test to exercise the usage of that other package? Like, is that how a good test would be
it can be,
produced?
but I'm not sure currently.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Need to like
that's
formalize more.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, good point. Good point. But yeah, let's circle back to this. Uh, but thanks for bringing it up, Daniel. It's a really good question.
Yeah, sure.
Wish we had a better answer, but at least I think bringing these kind of uncomfortable questions up is a good starting point. So it's test design feedback. Is this?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure this is accurate about like what you were asking for. So I'll just add a note over here that let's keep conversation going. Maybe you should ask this on Discuss, right?
Yeah. I could. For the sake of longevity of the question, maybe.
Yeah, at least to bring it up, and then we could have like better conversation, like with a bigger audience. And yeah, but very interesting. I'll think about it too. I'm sure there must be a good way to design some really good testing around this. So we have 5 minutes. Anything else, or should we go to the test plan? Actually, I remember there's something. So there is this POC about using what is it? Playwright. So unfortunately, I've been very sick. I'm really sorry. Like that's the best I can say. So I was supposed to work on this. So we have like Meshery and what is it?
Mesh map.
A mesh map testing around this. So I'll work on this today. Had this very like critical work in my job, but now it's done. So I now can get back to the more interesting stuff. So yeah, let's get back to that. So spreadsheet. So I think we're all kind of familiar with this. But wait, why is this empty? Just a sec. I guess this is the right one. No. Did this got deleted? Does anyone know about this? Or do we usually use this other one? Can't remember. I'll take a look after the call. No problem. I'll look at the history and making sure. Yeah, I guess these are the guidelines and that's all. But yeah. So yeah, just a quick description, in case anyone's not familiar, and maybe a refresher. So these are the test plan, different tests against different components, testing groups, installation, lifecycle management, components. So all of this looks for like Meshery, CTL, and then we get to some other tests, UI and server, service mesh, so on. And we track the coverage of each of these scenarios for the end-to-end tests and integration tests. So yeah, we should cover more of this. So I'll focus on the on Playwright proof of concept and come up with some good documentation around how to reutilize and extend common methods so we can leverage that tool effectively. So I'm just looking at like these fields just very quickly. Yeah, these are outdated a lot, but yep. And yeah, that's all. What else? Yeah, here's the list of the automated tests and builds. So here we could find like where each of these workflows lives and when it runs on, like if it runs on a PR, when our workflow is called and on a release, etc. Prerequisites. So some dependencies that each of these tests or builds depends on, and what area they're testing or building, so on. And it looks like the run means like what does each of these do. So this is a good place to get a better understanding. I don't have it right now, but next call I'll bring up the umbrella issue so we can use that to track child issues for different efforts under this area. So yeah, any comments or questions anyone has?
Yeah, I think Rushab had asked earlier if he could, you know, get an understanding of what's going on. How do we do testing? So maybe if you could give him a few pointers on like what's the path what's the roadmap
Yeah,
that you would
what's your
appreciate
area of
for us.
thank you, Daniel. What's your area of interest, Rushabh?
So
Like,
the
are
thing
you
is that I'm
involved?
working as a sorry to interrupt.
No,
Right
go
now I'm
ahead.
working as a DevOps engineer. So pipeline and all will be very good to contribute from my end.
Okay. Have you gone over the basic docs about, let me find one, layer 5, give me a
I
minute.
am going through
Like the
it right
community
now.
handbook? Okay, are you
I'm
stuck
going
in
through it.
any? Okay, cool. Are you anything you have questions about, like the repos, like, so you're into DevOps, so you like to know
Yes.
like where you can get started, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're in the right place. So, well, yeah, we have a lot of repos, so there's a lot of place to start. Do you have any specialization, like in a stack
Uh,
or in a tool, so we can
yeah.
help you get
Yep.
on
I'm
track?
having specialization in Azure. I'm Azure Administrator certified. Also having good grip on Terraform and also know
Terraform.
a little bit about Go.
Awesome. Wow. So then you have a lot of things, like areas where you can get involved. And you're in the right place. So thanks for joining. Just
Thank
thinking a
you.
bit, like there's a lot of things, GitHub process. Have you gone over this part yet?
No, I'm going through one by one each and every document I can, so I can get better idea of everything.
Okay, sounds good. I don't know if anyone has like a suggested area, either adapters or some other place, but a good starting place is the Meshery repo. So that's
Okay.
Meshery. So
I have gone to this one, that
mhm.
repository overview.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So this is like the organization, but yeah. So if you go over here, here are workflows. Not sure if you have taken a closer look, but mm, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure we must have a list of issues. But
Okay.
yeah. Does anyone have like an idea of any specific, like a good first issue or something for Rushop based on
I have
his?
to check.
So you have two community managers here who just hosted the newcomers meet. Well, actually, Yash did, and Vivek is on. If I can just add on to what you said, aside from going through the handbook, there are learning paths within the, I think, Meshery that in the previous years that were embedded Kataconda scenarios, and these are now being moved into the Meshery documentation. And so, yeah, that's right, those ones. And so now the goal is to create learning paths, making use of the Meshery playground. So I mean, from the tech skills that you said that you have and encompass, this might actually be beyond your skill set, but I'm only suggesting it as a way to get familiar with the organization and how the tool set works and how the playground works. So there are plenty of good first, I would call them good first issues, but they are slightly more challenging than a good first issue, that tutorials. So perhaps you could take a look into one of the tutorials and then see how you manage in creating those tutorials, suggesting this as a way for you to learn based on the skills that you said you have, and just get familiar with the playground and see how that goes. And feel free to ask questions, as I'm sure you're aware of the process, when you get stuck. And yeah.
There is one more question. When I guess Mario was showing the test plans, we have mentioned OS. So for the operating systems like Mac, Windows, and Linux, we do simultaneously, or we do automation testing on the OS.
Good
Yeah, on this
question.
one.
Yeah, so right now, like this was created long ago. I
Okay.
don't think we have like a lot of checks on different operating systems yet, but that would be a great area where you could get involved. For example, yeah, I think we're out of time, but can we get in touch in Slack?
Yeah,
Are you
definitely.
in the Slack? Okay, yeah, please. And then I'll come up with something. But I think we can get like a good idea of maybe like with Meshery CTL installation and so on.
Definitely.
Because
Because
that's something.
recently,
Go ahead, please.
recently in my company, I worked on one of the client. So the client was focusing on checking the windows and like different versions of browser, different versions of. So the basically main application of that was a web app. So we are using browser stack to check, each and every machine we can.
Mm.
We can do something like that to use different machine, different OS flavors and all.
Oh, good point. Actually, yeah, browser stack sounds nice. For example, these scenarios would be on our CLI tool. As you can see over here, is Meshery CTL.
Hmm.
So there's two things. Either you could go and try get some automation done on the installation. So then wherever we run this Meshery CTL, there's a specific command to start. Actually, it's this one. This is
Okay.
what we would run. And then depending on the operating system, there might be different instructions, but you would go into the docs Meshery. Yeah, I said we're out of time, but we're still here. Let me just let's get in touch, and then over here you can find
Definitely.
like
I'll ping in a
installation
Slack.
methods for different operating systems and so on.
Okay.
And then yeah, idea would be in GitHub workflows and make it run and then run some tests similar to this one. But we'll think. And then the other way is to, once it's installed, then to go and do browser testing with different browsers or operating systems. I guess it would be also a good alternative, like not alternative, but something else to focus on. But it's nice to have your expertise. And yeah, let's end the call because it's getting we're getting out of time. So well, that's all. Stop doing the sharing.